video, we're going to learn a couple of tricks you can use when you share documents to make your life easier. One of the things that you want to make sure when you do share a document is check what kind of restrictions you have. Depending on whatever your default is, your default might be set by your organization like mine is. Whether you want to share it with anybody in your organization, you want it restricted so it's just you or anyone with the link. One little hint, if you're sharing things with students that you also want parents to have access to, use anyone with a link because the parents won't have an email from your organization. Okay, so once I have changed my sharing link, let's say I want to give this to maybe some faculty members. I want them to be able to make their own copy and do whatever they want with it. If I share it, a lot of times people will then ask me for permission to edit because they might not remember to go to File, Make a Copy. So I can make them automatically make a copy by just editing something in the URL. So if you look here, this is the URL for sharing this document. I'm going to go ahead where it says edit. So it's right after that last slash, and I'm going to go and change the word edit to the word copy. Okay. So once I do that, whenever somebody opens this link, it automatically takes them here. It still shows you the name of the document, but now they have to make a copy, so I won't keep getting notifications of people asking for permission to edit. And this works with Google Docs, Sheets, Slides, any of the Google apps. So here's another trick with changing the URL when you share a document. So in Google Slides, if you get the link, and again, you want to make sure it's anyone with the internet can view or it could be specific to your organization, I'm going to copy that link. And then what I can do with Google Slides, I'm going to replace that word edit again, but this time, if I make it say present, then what I'm going to have with this URL is when my students or whoever I share it with clicks on it, it goes right to present mode. And then they can go through without having to open it up and present it. So the last thing I want to look at is another thing you can do with that URL that you changed either to copy or when we changed it to present if it was a slideshow. And either way, even though it works better, sometimes that URL is really, really long and you might be using something in print that you want to make a short URL. So I'm going to shorten my URL using something called Bitly. You probably have heard of that before. There's lots of different URL shorteners. I like this one because if you set up an account, you can keep track of all the links you've been using, and it actually allows you to see some analytics. There's some extra bells and whistles if you get a paid account, but the free account's pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and paste my URL. By default, it makes it a much shorter URL. If I want to, I could change that back half. And the only trick with that is sometimes if it's a popular word, they might be taken. And then once you're ready, you copy that. And you'll see here that if I paste that URL, it still takes me to my presentation. So once I've saved and edited my link, like I mentioned, you can check the analytics and see how many people have clicked at that URL and have opened up your link.